We are the consequence of all the music that we have been listening, all the historical moments, all the social moments. At the end is the consequence of your music.
One of the important roles that artists have, like yourself, is to speak for, or at least to join in those voices in and telling their stories, or at least from your perspective.
Yes, yes, and I think also because we have been like under this doctrine, artists, that we shouldn't speak too much. You know, we should be afraid, or don't talk to that. You're not a politician. You're just a musician. So the song talk about that sometimes you feel super alone, but sometimes you discover other artists that are in the same mood. So you're not alone. Like, como you recognize yourself in the others with traveling, even with opposite countries that are very different from us. No. So the song talk about that, like, that sometimes we feel that we're alone, but we're not alone. We are with ourselves. So it's a song that talk about to not lose. I don't know. I'm not Christian, pero la fe, algo como el seguir de pie, ¿no? Algo así. Respirar para sacar la voz, despegar tan lejos como un águila veloz. Respirar un futuro esplendor cobra más sentido si lo creamos los dos. Liberarse de todo el pudor, tomar de las riendas, no rendirse al opresor, caminar erguido sin temor, respirar y sacar la voz. The system loves to put you in un frasco. So I move here. I'm here. I represent this, and I can move to there. And what I'm saying is bad to art because art got the big tarea, homework, to discover other words. You know, like we need to be in permanent observation. We have observatory, you know, of the world. So if you lose that, you lose the capacity of see the other and other words. I think the music begins to be publicity of your genres, de tu género, ¿no? And not a vision with the world. La piel con escama cada vez que miro hacia el vacío. Las suelas gastadas, las manos atadas, la puerta de entrada siempre tuvo el cartel.
When she says doing politics, like, and partly we're thinking about a translation question, but I think there's also another question, like, what does it mean to do politics?
From my generation that was frozen by fear. Like, my generation didn't move, like they stay like that, you know. And or they was in jail or whatever. But this new generation, got another ship without fear. And the way that they do politics is very different of what we used to think my parents in the 70s to do politics. Yeah. Like doing politics without knowing they're doing politics. I made a song called Shock, and some people say there's an anthem, and sometimes it's very hard to be responsible for that. Being very honest, like, come on. Yeah. Because I don't want to be responsible for that. It's too much information.
Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting thing about it.
Because
it's not like
it's a lot of
out and said, here I'm going to write something that's then going to serve as an anthem for
you.
No, you do the song,
yes.
And then they take it
yes.
and make of it what they want.
Yes, and that's good. I mean, that's good that the way
yeah.
you make a song, and at the end when you write a song, the song is not anymore from you. It's universal. But to be responsible about to be an anthem of an old movement of students, that's like you got to be responsible for that in every day until you die, and after you die, and the kids of my kids and my kids and my kids. You know what I mean? Identity is so complex to explain. Identity is the color of your skin. Identity is the smell of your skin. The identity is the bread, the smell of the bread. Every time I was asking to me, like, what it means to me to be Chilena, for example. And for me, it's the smell of the bread, la marraqueta y la palta, which is very Chilean, and that explains a lot. No, you're laughing, but that explains a lot about who we are, because that explains stupidities like you eat. You tomas la once. We take la once in Chile is when we take the tea at 5, 6, 7 in the afternoon. And that moment is a family moment. And it's a magic moment also, because everybody's talking. Está desapareciendo, pero igual some people still with the culture of the tomar once, no? So identity is something that is not in a flag, for me at least. Identity is in our blood. Identity is in trying to recover the history that they have been stolen to us. Even I'm here, like we play in New York, and they were saying to us, like, you play for Columbus Day. That's horrible name. Like, and we had to make a poster. And from Chile, we say, we not put Columbus Day in our poster. Like, this is the day of when they take everything, and this is a resistance day, you know? So identity is also like to recover the way that we talk to each other, and the redefinition of the words, you know? And for example, identity for me is like to recover what is to mean to be Latinoamericanos, not this postal of reggaeton and bomba caliente. I mean, identity of what is to be and what's meant to be Latinoamericana. And that's identity, I think, is still in homework that we got to do, all of us, day by day. And that will take a long, long time, because it's a decolonization. That take a long time. So I think that I'm still stuff that I don't understand, like more in terms of identity, and I'm still trying to understand, like, eso creo. We live in a moment in the world that's with all this globalization and movement of people. Like, I was talking with a Guatemalan artist right now, like, and we are in Durham, like, so all this movement of people, we are like hormigas, movement, and I think that also, like, at the end, like, that the music and the art se impregna of all this change, like,
Yeah, so it just
like Bob Esponja.
with,
Switches, no? A social movement always need bases políticas, we say, political bases. We need not only people in the street, we need academical people. We need thinker, not only rage on the street. You know what I mean? Do you understand? We don't need academic either. We need this balance between think and action. Not only think and not only action, but a marriage between both words.
Anita, hola, bienvenida.
Hola.
Yo estoy en educación. Yo trabajo en la caja con mi compañero aquí.
Hola, compañero.
Nos escapamos de la escuela. Tratamos diariamente de poner nuestras ideas y lo que sabemos del sistema dentro de esa caja. Y tú tienes una libertad un poco, tienes como libertad para hacer cosas más creativas, tienes más libertad para dar tu mensaje. ¿Qué palabras de aliento nos darías tú a nosotros, como trabajamos con estudiantes que les están enseñando a vivir en esa caja? ¿Cómo nosotros podemos romper esa barrera?
De primaria.
Sí, de primaria, ya. Bueno, mis dos padres son profesores, mis dos papás. Y sigo pensando que cualquier academia, sea primaria, secundaria, universitaria, todas las academias son extremadamente importantes en la formación, en nuestra formación, ¿no? Entonces, da lo mismo si es universidad o primaria, niño de 6 años. Creo que para mí es súper importante, no sé, yo no trabajo mucho el tema de educación. Mi mamá se maneja mucho más que como socióloga, se maneja mucho más el tema. Pero la experiencia que yo he tenido con profesores de primaria, por ejemplo, que ha sido bien bonito, yo me acuerdo que, por ejemplo, hicimos un tema que se llama Todos los sólidos se desvanecen en el aire, y mi objetivo era hacer un video que le explicara a mi hijo lo que era el capitalismo. Entonces hice un video con un dibujo animado en la cual es un gusano gigante que se va comiendo todo, y ese era el capitalismo, se lo comía todo. Y me pasó que hasta profesores de primaria me han escrito como, oye, usamos el video como didáctico. Algunos profesores los directores como que tuvieron un problema. Hay mucho material didáctico, hay mucha gente haciendo cosas en el arte que yo creo que pueden ser material, por ejemplo. Y sigo pensando que las academias tienen que salir de la academia. ¿A qué me refiero con esto? Que, por ejemplo, viendo el trabajo de mi vieja, de mi mamá en este caso, ella está constantemente está en la universidad, en su plantel de sociólogos locos, pero después también está en barrio, y donde se hacen talleres comunitarios, traer a, no sé, Bourdieu o sociología al barrio, y que la academia no se quede en la academia. De la misma manera que la música no quiero que se quede en una sala de concierto. Es muy importante ir al bar, tocar en talleres. La música, al igual que la academia, tiene que estar en la calle, si no está enfrascada y sigue siendo una academia y una élite. Y lo que tenemos que cuestionarnos es qué tipo de academia estamos construyendo, ¿no? Ahora, esto lo digo incluso a ustedes que son profesores de primaria. O sea, yo lo digo así no quiero sonar una sensación que yo tengo. Creo que es muy bueno cuando la academia se acerca al barrio, a la comunidad. Y estoy segura que acá en Durham debe haber centros comunitarios de resistencia. En Estados Unidos, a mí me ha impresionado los que están en resistencia, puta que están en resistencia. Porque es acá contra todos. Me ha pasado conocer organización Puente, en Dillon, en Los Ángeles, gente que trabaja con los migras, con los jornaleros. Entonces, para mí es importante ir allá, porque para mí eso es Estados Unidos. Entonces, creo que la academia también tiene el deber de acercarse, porque cuando creo que la comunidad y la academia y las artes se unan, vamos a hacer una real revolución, un movimiento social real. Si no, se va a quedar enfrascado en un movimiento social sin arte y sin academia. Y creo que un movimiento social necesita una base política, y una base académica, y una base artística. Amen, sister.
I'm very pessimist when I see the world, but I'm very optimistic when I see some resistant places. And I think this world is already too radical. So I still continue to think that the social movement got to be radical. We don't have another way.
I'm curious to know how you feel about your music being used kind of as like a political movement, really kind of across the globe, but specifically in Chile. I'm just interested to know how you feel about that.
It depends on what political movement.
Maybe we'll go with education reform.
I'm not agree with education and reform in Chile. But of course, like every time that they use the music, like students, like I'm always like opening, like I feel like music should travel, no? But that happened in us right now in Argentina. They use Creo en Ti in a progressist, nice left people, and I was not agree at all. You know, so it depends of what movement, because there is a lot of movement right now, and there is a fashion movement also, which I do not agree at all, because movement is not a moment. Movement is forever, and is a response about a system that doesn't work. No, so it's delicado, no, and it's funny how some politicians think that you are in their side and you are not alone with the side. So it depends of the movement, it depends of the people, it depends of the student. There is student that can have say something, but at the end, like you know that in 3 years they can be in the government and be the same people that will take the cops in the street. So we got to be careful about one kind of student, what kind of movement. But I've got 3 persons that research for me. Like I'm always like, what do you know about them? Like, come on. But it's important to know, because there is a lot of new movement right now of young people, muchos partidos diferentes. So, yes. Yes, I've got a problem with institution. And I feel that I'm older. I thought that it was only when I was 15. I still got the problem with 2 kids. And it's crazy because sometimes those institutions or the system make you feel that you are wrong. And I'm pretty sure that they are wrong. Like, why I'm talking here and I look like the teacher? Why we are not in a circle right now? Why we got this military way of teaching to each other and I'm talking like with a mic and you are sitting down? It's about the destructuration about education and how education has been applied to us as military. And that's not the beauty of education. That's the repetition. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, yes, no, boom, boom, no? So for me, it's very important to not lose that. And I've got to be very honest, sometimes it's hard because I don't have sometimes connection with other parents. They are some are worry about some stuff that I'm not worried at all. Like, and even this, I leave that because I was in French school and French are very, yes, I will go at summer, like when I will have 40, I will do that, and then I will do that. Like they know all their life and they just got 15 years old. This is crazy, like they're already dead, like thinking how I will die like that. So, and in my case, like even coming from parents that was from academic world, to be a rapper was not right to be a profession. That's not a profession. I'm a rapper. What profession is that? I'm a rapper. I will be a rapper and I will write. So there is not a university about rapper, like, oh, I will take a master class of flow from the 90s with Old Diddy Bastard. No? So
this destructuration has been also my tools in some crazy way and to dar la vuelta, no? And I don't know how to do it sometimes, but I'm pretty sure that is the way to do it. Like, I think it's not to be polemic just to be polemic and be against the Lord just to be against. It's just that sometimes there is no logic at all. Like, even with my kid, like I see with Luciano that all the time. Like, we was in New York like last year when all those kids was traveling from Guatemala, Salvador to Texas. And Luciano, we was saying like the news with Luciano. I was trying to explain to Luciano, no, they are traveling alone. And how they are traveling alone, yes, but people, those families are really desperate, imagine. They think that they will find their family in the United States. Wow, and some people, and they were saying that some kids died. How they died, and now they're in jail in Texas. And how you explain that to your kid? There is no logic in a system that they call this is logic of immigration, for example. So I'm saying this because it's not only about school and academic, it's about the law, it's about the system, it's about everything got a logic. I say this like this is the most absurd word. We do war in the name of peace. What logic got that? How you explain that to your kid? That's not logic. ¿Dónde está la lógica? I would love to say that yes, music will change the world and music will change the people that got power. They don't give a shit. They will not change anything. I mean, music is music. Music is un acompañante. How you say a company, an historical acompañante. Music will not be the trigger to change something. You know what I mean? I would love to say yes, oh, my music will, and our music. Come on, we can be so egocentric. That is good for capitalism and their sponsor, not for a social movement. I think that to have the possibility to have been born in France and to grow up in a neighborhood full of friends of Algeria, Senegal, Mozambique. I learned a lot about Muslim without coming from a family very atheist.
Atheist.
Atheist?
Yes.
No, yeah, it's atheist. I love atheists. That's good. I'm so atheist. I learned a lot about Africa, about food, culture, Ethiopia, and the contradiction to live in Paris also, like trying to live in the primer mundo, and all this contradiction also, and trying to understand Latin America coming from France also. And I think through time that gave me a good perspective. It's hard. It was hard when I was a teenager, but I like it right now. That gives you a capacity of, I think, of tasting different stuff. Musically speaking, even.
And she had a much different perspective. The people who, when she came to Chile, when she was 13 or 14 years old, the people who lived there had been very shut off from the rest of the world for the last 20 years. They didn't have any, she said she had influences from Africa and Muslims. They had nothing from the rest of the world at all. So when there was kind of a choke between her and the rest of the people who lived there because she was a woman of the world and they were all stuck in their little dictatorship.
Yes, I remember like the first stuff that impressed me of Chile when I arrived was, where are all the black people? Like, there's no black people, you know. And we didn't have the slavery from Africa in Chile as Colombia or Peru. Chile is different, so I couldn't understand, well, where is the flow? No había. For me, you know. And that, and also trying to understand how dictatorship install what was beauty, like to be blonde, to be tall, like. It was very different, like in all senses, stereotypo, aesthetic.
Here, if there's a protest or there's a strike or something, maybe it's the teachers aren't getting paid enough, or who knows why there's a strike here for different reasons. There, it was kids who are 14, 15 years old saying our schools are not good enough for us, and instead of not going to school, they went to the schools and they took them over, and they said we're not leaving until these schools become better. And the teachers were on their sides, and the parents were on their sides, and the kids locked themselves in the schools, and the parents would come and give them food and say, "We're with you until the government reacts to this. We're not gonna support the government. We're gonna support the kids." And there were kids in the streets, and there were kids locked in the schools, and it wasn't just in Santiago and a few schools. It spread to the whole country, and literally, a small number of high school kids grew larger, and they stopped the whole country. There's nothing going on in the country because everybody has a relationship to, it's their kids or it's their neighbor's kids or their teacher or somebody. Everybody was involved in it, and they said, we're going to make classes in here, and we're not going to have teachers or governments or anybody tell us what to do. We're going to make our own little societies inside these schools. And it was really shocking to see these kids, and they were literally 14, 15 years old. She reacts to it, and then the people react to what she did, and it becomes more circular, like then it grows after what she does, and some people might want her to become a face of it, but she doesn't want to become the face of it, or was never her intention at all, but it's people want to do something very simple, say, Anna Tijoux is the student movement, but that's not what the student movement is at all.
I think there is nothing more violent than you lost all the capacity of having reflexión crítica. If you lost that, you lost humanity. When you normalize the violence, when you normalize that, well, words is like that. So I never has been afraid. I'm more afraid to become that than physical violence, to be honest.